Alright, yo, what's good gamers, what's good? My name is Dr. Ryan Terrell, Psych Sensei, and welcome to Ryan Rants, baby. This, is going to be my time to practice, talking, because apparently I talk too academic when I try to make YouTube videos, and so I'm gonna try to be super cash, super chill in trying to explain these concepts, and maybe, it'll be more fun for me to try to explain them. So, full disclosure that these are half-baked ideas. These are just things that I've been thinking about at nighttime or between sessions or even in sessions with clients or players or whatever. And yeah, this is just my time to kind of talk them out, to play with them, to see if it makes any sense. And hopefully it can help you too. Today, we'll be trying to talk about fear and how fear jacks you up. Apparently, Twitch didn't like that title, but that's what we'll be talking about today. And if this is your first time coming, yo, what's good? My name is Dr. Ryan Terrell, Psych Sensei. I'm a clinical esports psychologist. I work with gamers. I work with people as a psychologist, a clinical psych, but also gamers, coaches, teams, organizations in general to help them be better gamers, to help them climb, to help them get out of their own mind and do what they want in their game. So, if you are fearful of something or you want to talk about something else, you just let me know and we'll follow the bouncing ball, baby. This stream is for you. But let's play. Is it this? Yeah, all right. So today's topic. Oh, I actually also need a different way to figure out my microphone so I don't keep hitting it. Yo, what's Pope? Oh, that's pooping. What's poppin'? How are you doing, Sensei? I'm doing good. Today we're talking about fear. If you wanna come talk about fear with us. This is today's topic. We're talking about fear, how it messes you up. This is a free flow conversation. Um, like I said, a little half baked, little for funsies, but it's just for me to practice talking. I hope you're doing well. I thought I would take a break from reading and actually like put stuff out there. You know what I mean? This is also a side project for me to be practice and be brave instead of taking what people say and talking about it. This is all for my own dome, and we're to go for it. So these are some questions that I have thought of that I think might be really interesting for you to kind of think about too as we kind of progress this discussion or talk or whatever. Just some things to whet your appetite, just some things for you to think about. And number one, I think this is fun. What are you afraid of? I think that we oftentimes we spend so much time thinking about the fear, the anxiety, the thing that we don't also take some time to think about why we're afraid of the thing, what we're afraid of, what we're afraid is going to happen, the meaning making of the fear. All we just react to or respond to is the fear itself. And then sometimes that fear makes us do things that we don't really want to do, but hey, we respond to it. But more interestingly though, in my experience, fear makes you avoid something, typically the thing that you're scared of. But here's the thing, the more that you avoid the thing you're afraid of or try to not do it, not think about it, not be around it, listen, the scarier that thing becomes, quite frankly, right? And from a different perspective, you're actually teaching yourself to avoid the thing and you're teaching yourself to be scared, or maybe not teaching, but maybe reinforcing that that thing is scary and you should respond to it this way. You know what I mean? So, number two, what are you avoiding? What's the thing that you are putting off? The thing that you don't want to think about? The thing that you're actively getting away from? What are you avoiding that's caused by fear? And here's the kicker, right? Oftentimes people say like, oh, it's so hard, or it's so scary, or it's so painful to make that change or to like push through the fear. But here's my question to you. What pain would you rather pick? Like, what pain would you rather have? And what I mean by that is you're going to experience pain somehow, somewhere, either where you are or doing something different. And both are going to be hard. So from that perspective, you get to pick what pain you get to experience. You get to pick the hard that you have to face. They're both choices. So what choice do you want to make? That's all. But those are the preamble questions for you to think about, especially when it comes to gaming, especially when it comes to solo queue, maybe talking to your teammates. I don't know. What are you afraid of? What are you avoiding? And what pain would you rather have? So, some thoughts. So, when you think about pain and when you think about fear or whatever, typically I found, and I'm still trying to make this kind of like not snippy, but like catchy. Here's the 3 ways or areas I found fear to affect people, to make people change the way they think or whatever. But here's the 3 biggest places, 3 biggest themes, but 3 biggest areas that I've seen fear affect people. Okay. The first area is their focus. See, I don't know. Maybe I want to call this their attention. Maybe I'm trying to play with it. So maybe I'll do both. You tell me which one sounds better. I wanted to make it like 3 A's or like 3 P's or I don't. I got 3 A's, but I don't know if they're good. But this is the working thing. All right. So the first area that I think fear really affects people is their focus and their attention. Okay, what I mean by that is like, I guess it's related to pain. And what I mean by that is like, there's this really awesome thing that pain makes you do. Like as soon as you experience some sense of pain, you really attend to that thing, right? You really focus on the thing that's sore. You really you pay attention to what's like hurting you, and you think about it a lot. Like it has this awesome thing to like cut through anything that you're thinking about or anything that you're preoccupied to make you focus on that thing. You don't believe me? All right. Have you ever like stubbed your toe? Like you kicked the wall and you didn't feel anything yet, but you're like, oh my God, here it comes. And there's that shiver of pain that just comes up your leg, and then it hits you. You're like, ah, right? It's just really funny because even when you kicked your foot and you knew it wasn't painful, but you knew it was going to be, what are you thinking about? The impending doom that the toe pain's going to come. That's what you're thinking about. And then as soon as the pain hits, guess what you're thinking about? You're not thinking about, do I have to use the bathroom right now? Or, did I leave the car door unlocked? You're thinking about, oh my God, my freaking toe, man. That's all you're thinking about. Nothing else. And so, from a different perspective, isn't it really cool how pain can just cut through everything? And here's the thing about your brain. Your brain does not know the difference between physical pain and emotional pain. It all gets interpreted through the same pain pathways. So, I mean, you know, when people are addicted to drugs or whatever, or they're on like heroin or like fentanyl or whatever, which are painkillers, right? Like, oftentimes what makes that recovery process really challenging is typically it's like a compounding effect of why they're doing this drug. Maybe they have physical ailments of pain, so they take that drug. But then maybe they're also escaping some of the emotional pain that they're feeling because that also gets affected when they take that drug. So when they start trying to get off of it, everything is painful. And it's harder, right? It's more reinforced because it soothes all that type of pain. So if that's true for like drug research and drug habits, you can understand why your focus on pain is drawn, is amplified or drawn to it once you experience it. So all pain is pain, emotional or physical. But why this is really scary is because it can consume you, right? If you are too much stuck in the pain, it's really hard to pull yourself out of that place to think about anything else besides how much this sucks, how sore it is, and how bad it is, quite frankly. And then that's where you get stuck. You perseverate it, you make it worse in your head, it goes around and around and around, and then I guess that's where the anxiety kicks in. You're thinking about the future, the what ifs, the oh no's, the meaning that you make out of it. That's why it's so scary. And I guess this really does help the spiral of it to go down. Maybe we can draw a better spiral. The spiral. All right? Because one thing leads to something else, which leads to something else, and you just stay in this spiral of fear. And it paralyzes you, and it sticks you here. So, I guess another reason why you get hard stuck is because it's painful and you're afraid that this is it, or maybe it's sunk cost fallacy or whatever. But I think that's really, really important, just to think about how it controls your focus and attention, and how tantalizing it is. And for other people, or I guess for you in the chat, I'm guessing, like, what makes the things you're afraid of so hard to stop thinking about? So I guess some questions here. And then the kicker. Here's the kicker. And I guess the sub tick question from that would be, all right, follow me down the spiral, all right? All right, so just some more insight, just some more questions for you to ask yourself to understand the fear. Because listen, it's really hard to fight what you can't measure. It's really hard to fight what you don't see. And it's really hard to fight what you don't understand. And so part of this conversation is making sure you understand or have awareness of your fear, how it's affecting you, and then we can do something. Because it's really hard to say, like, just come on, just tough it out. Don't be scared, man. It's like, what does that even mean? So let's understand it first, so we can, know your enemy so you can defeat it, kind of angle. All right, so some things for you to think about in this, right, is what part of fear are you hard focused on? Are you afraid that you're gonna get hurt? Are you afraid that people are gonna say something? Are you afraid that you wasted your time? Like, each of us can be can have fears for different reasons, and those fears can affect us in different ways. Another thing I'm thinking about is what makes you focus on your fear? Like, is it like you don't want this thing to happen, so you're thinking about it so hard to make sure that you see the signs of it's happening? Do you focus on your fear because it often does happen and you need to prepare for it afterwards? Do you focus on your fear because that's your whole identity? And what would you do if you weren't anxious? I don't know. There's different reasons why people pay attention to it, but I'm just curious why you do it. And then, here's the really deep one. What meaning are you making out of your fear? And the tail to that is, what makes it so valuable to you? And the reason why I'm saying what's the meaning making what's the meaning you're making out of your fear is because if you really think about it, right under your fear, right under that anxiety is a care. And under that care is a value. So from a different perspective, your fear is protecting your value set, but what value is it protecting? And is it the protecting causing you to do different things, or the overcare of that thing making you do different things that makes that fear actually come true. So for example, say I really value my rank in games, and maybe I overvalue the rank and think that, don't do this, right? It's not suggested. You think your rank dictates your self-worth, how much you bring to a relationship, how good you are as a person. You know what I mean? Like you, and maybe this is you because as you gain or lose points, you also feel good or bad about yourself as a person, right? And so what I'm thinking is, if you start doing bad in game, why you're afraid of that is because then you also feel like a bad person, or you're not progressing, or like you're wasting your time, or whatever. All of these things are core values and core statements to you. So if you can understand your fear, you can also understand the things that you value or overvalue in this case, and how can we tamper them down a little bit so they don't make you think unrealistic things, like equating your self-value to your rank, or your sense of progression as a person to your rank. You know what I mean? Because if we can unlock that little piece of you, maybe we can do other things to help you be less afraid, so you don't avoid the things that you could be doing to actually get the results that you want. All right. Number 2. Maybe I start a new piece of paper? Okay, number 2. Maybe cleaner for the edits, I'm not sure. Okay, number 2. Bring this down a little bit. The second way I think fear affects you is your... See, this is the one. Is it... Okay, I said emotions. But if we're going for all A's, it's also affect. Same thing, different word, you know? Basically how you feel about it. Well, I think it's in this progression. I don't know if this progression is like highest to lowest. I haven't scaled them. But I do think like maybe it is in this order. I don't know if it's like a flow chart. So first would be focus and attention. Next would be your emotions, your affect. Okay? The thing that this brings to mind is when people say, like, you're playing scared. Which is related to playing not to lose. And I wonder if there's any other phrases that kind of go in this vibe, where it's like the fear directly changes the way you're playing your game, the way that you're approaching your game, or even the way that you're thinking about trying to win the game. Like, if you're thinking about playing not to lose, you're playing scared. I'm really trying to think if there's another term. If there's another term, especially in gamers, that they use that kind of has this vibe of like your fear is fucking you up, you know? But why I'm just going to pull on these two in general is, listen, you can't compete if you're afraid. Like, I think if you're always battling internally your fear or these negative emotions about what could happen or how the game is becoming harder as the win condition is changing or evolving over time, if you're focused on that fear and managing it all the time, guess what you're not focused on? Or guess what's getting less attention and less focus? You guessed it. How you want to play, what's actually going to help you. And here's an interesting thing too, right? Like, if you go and look for these things, you often find it. So if you're looking for how the game is getting harder, you're going to find it. If you're looking about how the game is getting away from you, you'll see it. If you're looking about, if you're trying to look for how you're losing the game and how it's becoming more and how you're throwing it, you're going to find it, and you may even do it faster, you know, because that's what you're paying attention to, or giving more attention to, is those other things. To sometimes know, like, rhyme or reason to yourself other than that's what you're thinking about, right? So the reason why I think fear is kind of dangerous, not dangerous, but it's really distracting, is because it literally changes what the feelings of, sorry, it literally changes how you feel, and those feelings directly affect like the things that you do, right? Because you imagine what it's like trying to play scared. Oh my gosh, everything is out here to everything out here is going to kill me. Everyone out here is trying to hold me back. They're throwing the game on purpose. I can't do the things that I really want to do, or I'm even thinking that the plays that I want to do aren't possible because they're just too strong, or they already know what I'm doing, or I'm so far behind that I can't play this way. Or on the other hand, if you're playing like not to lose, now maybe you're playing more conservative. Maybe now you are not doing the risky plays. Maybe now you're not doing the things that you typically do to get the results that you want. You know, like I'm thinking about like my friends and I are going to Vegas later in October, and I'm thinking about playing craps because I love me some craps, right? And so now that I'm planning for this trip or getting really excited for this trip, I'm watching all these like crap videos or like people play craps, right? Just to like get into the mood. But something that I've been learning through all these gambling videos, and I'm not saying go gamble, it's not what I'm saying, but what I'm learning through all these gambling videos is like you have to fight yourself to think differently about how to play the game. Instead of thinking about how much money you're losing, you have to think about this is the money that I've already lost. Like I've already lost this money because as soon as you start thinking about losing money and saving as much money as you can, you don't make the moves you need to make money. And in fact, what actually happens is even though you're playing conservative and you're making smaller gains, eventually those small gains are going to get wiped away if you keep playing. So instead, when I'm watching all these videos, they're saying like, okay, you have to go into the mindset of one, you can't be scared to lose money. Just accept that you've lost that money that you've already said that you're willing to wager. Now that you've accepted that you lost this money, now you can play the games because you aren't scared to lose it and thus changing your betting strategy. So it is kind of going against what you are taught or what your natural inclination to do. But if you really, really think about if you want to progress in your game, in a way you are kind of gambling. And so you can't play from a position of fear. You have to play from a position of what am I going to do next? While understanding how the fear is affecting you. So that's why I'm saying like the fear and how it affects your emotions really colors your whole entire experience of what's happening, what is even possible, and then what do you do from here? So that's number 2. All right. Number 3. And then I guess we can just kind of chill and kind of vibe and just follow the bouncing ball. Because, like I said, today is just talking and practicing. What's up, Rainbow Meow? I see you, baby. All right. The last one. And maybe kind of bounce around after this, kind of go different topics, like, within this, because I'm just talking. And then from here, my goal is to be like, okay, can I talk for an hour? Do I feel comfortable? How can I structure this more? You know? Yo, what's good? All right, the last one is, you know this, the action, the behaviors. I think this is like the most scariest thing that fear can make us do is kind of related to the emotions, right? Because once they make you feel some type of way, once it gets into that feeling, it then affects the what you do, right? And I guess the thing with gaming that's really, really hard is like, if you don't go for it, if you don't do the things that you're scared of, you're never going to get better. I'll write that down here. All right. Why I'm saying if you don't do the scary things, you won't grow is because part of the process of being afraid and doing it anyway is teaching yourself and showing yourself that even if you're scared, you can still experience that feeling and push through it and do it even scared. And if you can do that and get positive results, or hell, negative results too, you've learned that you can still feel the thing and do it anyway. And just like getting used to your game, just like anything else, learning, what have you, as you continue to go through this process, as you continue to feel the feeling, fail, do it again, feel the feeling, fail, and do it again, the more comfortable you are with that feeling. And that's maybe even the first step for you to conquer your fear or be less anxious, is acknowledging that you may not feel ready. You may not feel the best, but even despite feeling this way, you can still try and you still perform. And that's where you build confidence, right? Because I think that it is stupid. It would be erroneous. It's just wrong, right? If you assume that pros don't get anxious and don't get scared, you're flat out wrong. I've watched them be scared. I've watched them be nervous. I've been in the room with them as they prepare to play for a major or the tournament or the biggest game of their career. I've seen them in those rooms, and let me tell you, nobody's chill. And the people that say that they are chill, they aren't chill. They all feel this fear. But here's the thing, what makes them pros and what makes us not pros is they can feel that fear, acknowledge it, and push through and do it anyway. That's the biggest difference. So, if you don't feel these scary things, you won't grow. And it's natural and normal for you to be scared and anxious or whatever. In fact, you have brain structures dedicated for you to be scared. They're your amygdalas. Their entire job is to search your environment to find things that they find dangerous to make sure that those dangerous things don't kill you. That's it. It's hardwired into your brain. So to say that people don't get scared, either A, they have brain damage. They have brain damage. And listen, if you removed your fear and your pain, like receptors or concepts in your brain, you would die. You would die very quickly. Why? Listen, if you had, I think they also did this in rats and stuff like that, where they like destroy that part of the brain with fear. And what happens? You go do risky shit. You go play in traffic, quite literally. You will jump off a cliff. You will do things that are inherently dangerous, and because you don't have any fear, you probably will get hurt or mangled or death. Like that's the result. And also, if you feel no pain, people think, oh, that'd be awesome. I could just like push through or not care or whatever. Listen, if you don't have any pain, you get a small cut, you will bleed out. You won't notice how broken your body is, and you will not be able to continue. Or you will continue to use that broken body until it literally falls off, which leads to death. So, if you're thinking about fear and pain, they're safety mechanisms, and you need these things. At the same time, they only become a problem, not only, but they become a bigger problem when you're unable to discern if it's real or in your mind, and if you're unable to manage that fear and it's overreacting all the time. It's like this nice little balancing act for yourself of keeping self safe. I'm safe, I can do this, or this is a danger, this is a perceived danger, I can still push through. So it's really interesting how your body kind of manages those things. That being said, fear is normal. It's how we react and respond and use that may be abnormal. Abnormal, that's the word. Abnormal. We got there. Okay. This is the other way. This is like avoid equals This is I've been spelling this word incorrectly all day, so I want to make sure that I can spell it correctly. Ah, okay, this is it. All right, if you avoid things, I think this is the funniest thing. And the reason I think it's the funniest thing is because, like, this is where people get the most upset. And I think it's because when they're afraid of something, what they try to do is they try to avoid that thing because, like, oh, I'm afraid of this. If I avoid it, then the thing that I'm avoiding won't happen, right? But it's almost as if, like, if this is the thing you're afraid of, right, and you're driving, I don't know, I guess this is, maybe I'll just draw a person. Okay, this is you. Right? And you're saying that you're walking, right? And you're like, oh, I don't want that thing, so I'm gonna take a left turn, right? And you're like, okay, I'm still trying to avoid the thing, so I'm gonna take another, maybe I'll take a right turn. And you're like, okay, well, maybe I'm gonna take this turn, and then I'm gonna go this way. I'm gonna keep going around, and I keep going around, and I keep going around, but then I end up here. Like, for example, this is the easy example that I can think of, right? All right, say this person and this is for example, this is the example, right? And this is like talking to this person. They're in conflict, right? They're fighting. Okay? So this guy goes, "You know what? I don't want to fight with this person, so I don't want to talk to this person." Okay? So maybe this is like literally avoiding. Okay, so maybe I don't want to talk to this person, but maybe I'll tell their friend about it. Okay? I'll tell my friend about this thing. Okay? So I'll tell my friend about this thing. But then I feel better. Okay? But then maybe I have to interact with this person, and maybe this one is okay. I'm gonna. Now this one is okay. Maybe now I'm going to be like passive aggressive in meetings and not really talk to this person. Okay, and then maybe this one is going to be like, all right, this person is still irritating me, and the problems I'm still having with this person are still occurring. So maybe I'll just try to further distance myself with this person, right? Or whatever. But here's the thing: if you talk shit about this person because you're in conflict and it gets back to them, guess what you have to do? Now we have bigger conflict with this person. All right. Now, for example, if I'm this one, I'm using passive aggressive language and I don't really want to talk to them. Now they're getting more upset with me because I'm not using direct language with them. And then now the conflict with them is even bigger. All right. Say this one then is like a further distancing, but now they see the distance that's building between us and now they're getting more upset. Right. And maybe so all I'm saying is all this avoidance behavior that you're doing because you don't want to be in conflict with this person is in reality causing even more conflict. So when you actually have to talk to this person, not only do you have to address the original conflict of what's happened between you two, but now you have to address the shit talking. Now you have to address the further distancing. Now you have to address the passive aggressive comments. So there, not only do you have to address the conflict, but all the other things, all the other avoidant behaviors that you used with them. And now the conflict is even bigger. So the funny thing about fear is that because you avoid it, now it turns into this negative self-fulfilling prophecy where the thing that you're afraid of actually becomes true, or it's now is bigger. Okay, you want an in-game example? I got you, baby. All right, so if this is you, okay, you're looking dapper, you're looking happy, that's you. Okay, now say this is okay, this is the ranked environment, and don't come for me, but I'm gonna do my best, right? I'm gonna do my best. Okay, because now it's a part-time art show. Okay, so this is a ranked environment. Maybe I can make a. Does this make a? Okay, nice. Okay, and this is Okay, this is ranked, right? Okay, and then this is the. You know this one, right? This is the ready. This is the ready button, right? And it's blinking. And then you got the blue circle that's like shh. Okay, we're gonna delete that one because that's ugly. But you get the idea, right? Here you go. This is you. This is the ranked button. Okay? If you might have experienced this where you want to push this ready button, right? You're like, okay, today's gonna be a good day. I'm gonna push this button, but you're scared. And who can blame you? Last game, you got griefed. Maybe you hit a new peak and you're like, dude, I really want to save my rank, or I want to save all these points. And if I push this ready button, maybe I'm going to ban teammates and they're going to grief me, right? And so now it becomes more and more scary for you to push this button. And so you avoid pushing this button, right? If this is you, now you're like, you want to push it, but you're not like, and you're avoiding it, right? And so maybe this face isn't happy anymore. Oh! Now, you know what? Now you don't get a face, I guess. Alright, so maybe instead of happy, maybe you're more, I guess, squiggly. I guess that's the scary face, right? Now you're more squiggly. Well, let's carry on. Now you're more like this. Flat and squiggly, okay? But here's the thing. The more you avoid pushing this button, here, the scarier the ranked environment comes. And then when you actually do push this button and you play ranked, it's you're so preoccupied with what happened last game, how many points you're gonna lose. I don't know, the first sign of trouble happens. You're like, oh my god, here it goes. I knew it. This is gonna be a bad game again. And then you look for all the things that are terrible. How do you think you feel if we go to these things, right? What do you think you're focused on in this example? Are you focused on in this example, are you focused on, for example, the game and what's going to happen? Or are you focused on everything going wrong, how your jungler sucks, how your mid lane just griefed their wave and died 3 times? What are you focused on? Then, how do you think you're feeling? Do you think you're chill and calm and relaxed, where you can really focus on playing what you want to play, doing what you want to do? Or are you focused on, oh my gosh, I'm panicking because we're so far behind. I'm panicking because I just died like 3 times. I feel stupid that I'm bad at this game. Like, how are your emotions in this thing? Then, how is this affecting your actions? What are you doing? How you're actually performing in the game, all right? Then, if you're focused on all those things, if you're thinking about all those things, if you're feeling all those things, guess what happens? You lose. But the reason why you lost isn't because ranked is scary. The reason why you lost is because you were focusing on everything there is about losing instead of winning. But because I'm avoiding it now again, this gets even more and more scary. Versus, you know, today, although I'm scared, and although I may not like this feeling, the first goal of today is to get used to the ranked environment, is to submit myself to the process of playing ranked. Dude. I wish. I'm getting so many, like, bots. It's really interesting and hilarious at the same time. I'm a bot-free stream. Unless I myself am a bot. We'll see. But it's really funny because now you're avoiding ranked. And now the worst part is you're attributing all those things, that sense of badness, to yourself. When in actuality, you're not really bad. You're just really scared. And I guess your fear is causing you to be bad in this case. But it's not a personal flaw. It's not a characteristic flaw. It's a comfortability issue with just doing the thing that you're afraid of and feeling that feeling and being okay with it. That's the thing that's really fucking you up. But it's funny. All right, here's the thing. If you're afraid, though, this is something I was thinking about last night. I don't know how it works, but this was the thought, right? Okay. Listen. If this is like the... Oh, yeah, let's make nice lines. All right, this is a funny thought. The hee hee ha ha. I don't know if this is like real or not, but it was real to me at the time. Okay, so if this is like a bell curve, right? Ooh, that's a little too egregious. All right, so this is a bell curve. It's not bad, right? It's not a bad bell curve. Okay, so if this is like how'd I do this? Okay. If this is people and this is what, intelligence? Okay, this was the thought. I don't know if you guys can read this graph. Maybe I have to make it smaller. Okay, let's make it smaller. I thought it was okay, but I think it's too big. That's what she said. Okay. Okay, if this is the graph, right? And on this side is intelligence of like how smart people are, and this is number of people, all right? And if this is a bell curve in the median, right? This would be just for this example, okay? Just for your own understanding. This is you here, okay? Say. Okay? That's you. All right, that would mean that according to statistics, right? According to statistics, 50% of people, according to this line, would be smarter than you. All right? Or yeah, and then other 50% here. I guess maybe this is wrong. Maybe this is wrong. Maybe this is smart, right? Okay, so this would be smartness. Okay, and then this is what people. That looks better. Okay. So let's try again. Rewind. Okay. So if this is the line of smartness here, and we split it, and we say you're in the middle here, that would mean 50%, if I do my math correctly, 50% and 50%, right? That would mean 50% of the people are smarter than you, and then 50% of the people are stupider than you. If you are the median. All right, now think about that. Okay? Think about you and your intelligence, like your level of intelligence, and if you want to put this in games, like your level of play of game. Okay, so if you are the middle percentage of your rank, okay, or just players in the game or game of life, okay, know that there's going to be 50% of the people smarter than you. Okay, so that would mean if you're playing League of Legends, two more people, let's say, are smarter than you, and then 2 people are dumber than you. All right? Now, think about that. All right. If you're in the middle, that also means, though, that the 50% are stupider than you. Okay? Like, maybe a little bit, but maybe a lot more stupider than you. Okay? Think about that fact. Okay? So if that's true, are you afraid, then, of, like, this 50% thinking something about you? Or are you thinking about this 50% that's thinking something about you? Because if I had to take a guess, the trolls or the people yelling at you, they're probably here. They're probably here. Because if they're smarter than you and they understand that you're dumb, they probably won't flame you so hard because, like, you're just dumb. And after a while, like, you can only call someone dumb so many times, right? So if they're here and they're upset with you and they're stupider than you, why should you be afraid of them? Okay. Here's some other percentages, right? If we're going to do more percentages, another thing I was thinking about at nighttime. All right, this is like the 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 rule. Okay? So, another circle. Okay? Nice circle, if I do say so myself. We make it a little bit smaller. Okay? All right, so if we're going to break this bad boy into thirds, let's just say evenly. Dude, that's actually not bad. Come on. That's actually not bad. Okay. No, okay, that is kind of bad. The bottom slice is a little bit... It's a little janky. Alright, but I'm going to do my best. That looks a little more even. In conclusion, if we eat a pie and there's only 3 of us, one of us is gonna get a bigger piece. All right. So 1/3, right? This is the rule. 1/3 of your games will be winnable. Like 100% winnable. Okay. Okay. Then another third, 100%, you'll lose. Just loss. But then there'll be 1/3 of the game where it's playable. Right? This playable thing, what I mean by that is like, it's actually more fair than you think. This could be like, listen, you're on a team with 4 Smurfs. Maybe one person leaves in the middle of the game. Maybe like one guy just runs it down and goes down like 0-30 in the first 5 minutes. I don't know. Just you're going to completely win this game. Then flip it. 100% maybe you have, I don't know, someone says AFK, one person that's like super high or super drunk on your team and they don't really care. Maybe you have like 3 noobs. I don't know. Where that game is just, you're going to lose it. Listen, that person is too high on their mind. They can't even see straight. They just came out for, I don't know, a breakup, and they're being really toxic, and they just want to get out. You're going to lose that game, right? And then, this middle one here is like, you have a chance where you have 5 humans versus 5 other humans where it's completely playable. You know, and it's an actual fair fight. Okay, if that's true, okay, I'm going to move these to the outside. This is the thing I was thinking about. And I don't know how to split these up into more thirds, but I'm going to try. Yeah, I would just use a different color. Okay, within these little slices, what if... And I can't tell you how these break down. That's going to be a science experiment. This is just a theory. Okay, and again, if in conclusion, if we go eat pies, someone's gonna get screwed. So don't eat pies with me. Okay, that's one. Let me use a different color. I'll use purple for this one. Okay, and then let's use a different color. Green. For green, and that's gonna use red, maybe, because you're gonna lose. Okay. All right. This, I don't know if this is true, but this is just a workable theory that I'm thinking about, okay? You know what, for the sake of this too, let's can we make it smaller? Oh, maybe I can't make it. Oh, yeah, there it is. All right, then we're just gonna move this to circle. And I wish it wouldn't delete the lines, but it's going to delete the lines enough to do it again, so it's fine. See? Balls. But you know what? Now it's, let's just do it again. Let's just do it again. We're fine. We'll do it again. All right. All right, so now we do blue. We'll do this one pink, because that seems like a more lossy color. And then we will use this one as green. Okay. All right, stick with me. All right, if that's the rule of thirds, right? One's 100% win, one's 100% lose, and the other is 100% playable. What if then you also scaled it? Okay. Oh, did I do this on my phone? This is how late at night it was. I was doing stuff on my phone. Okay. What if you then, we split these things up a little bit more specifically to help you understand the type of game that you might have within these three? Because if you're like, okay, it's hard for me to accept that these games are going to be this way, but then what if we made it a little bit more specific? And what I mean by that is, if under lose, what if it's here? We change the focus. So on this one is, okay, how do I break this down? Me, team, and then okay. And then this one would be, all right, so let me explain this one. All right, so what if we were a little bit more specific, right? Like you're trying to do the 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, and yes, maybe some people are using it for cope. But if you're gonna actually use this 1/3 rule to help you understand your fear of what's gonna happen and manage your expectations, what if then, instead of thinking, okay, this is just a losable game, it's a 100% loss, I don't need to try anymore, or whatever, I just need to give up. Okay, what if then, oh, I don't want that. What if it was thinking about it a little more specific? Get away from here. More specific as in, all right, if it's a 100% loss game, why did you lose? For example, were you the reason you lost the game? Did you run it down super hard? Is that the reason why you lost? Because maybe it was. And then if that's true, now from this 100% losable game, there's things that I can take away to make this 100% loss maybe closer to playable, if I understand why. Okay, is it my team that ran it down? Like my teammates, my team members that I may not have any control over that ran it down. Okay, then if that's 100% loss, all right, maybe it's easier for me to let myself off the hook, and then it's easier to eat this loss because realistically there's nothing I could do. Or, listen, were you just getting completely dumpstered by the enemy team and like you had no idea what they were doing? You had it was almost as if they could read your plays. Now, once you take this loss though, you can take this, learn a little bit about it to make it a little more playable, right? But now it's just not accepting this loss of I'm going to lose, but okay, I accept that I lost, and I can see how I lost to make sure that this 100% losable game gets closer to here playable. Okay? With the 100% win, you can also use the same kind of idea, right? Me, team, enemy team. I don't even know how to write this. Enemy team. Nailed it. All right, so I'm thinking here too. It's like, all right, why did you win this 100% winnable game? Did you smurf? Did you just carry that team 1v9? Because now we can learn about how to do it again. Did your team carry you? Was the team entirely smurfing and you just got backpacked and you're just chilling with it? Or did the enemy team just throw that game? Like, they just threw it. Because if you can understand how you won this game, all right, now we can even take this to the future to think about how we won again or how we can win again. Maybe it's for us. If we did really well, we can highlight and watch that VOD, pat ourselves in the back to do it again. If it's the team, okay, maybe we just be thankful to the team. Thank you in the chats. Thanks for carrying us. And maybe if it's the enemy team throwing, we can also throw them a thank you for throwing that game or seeing what we did to make them make mistakes before they threw the game. Also really important to do a diagnostic test, right? Now, if it's completely playable, you can still do the same thing. I think if you can see these other two, it's going to help you see this playable piece. And what I mean by that is, like, if you can understand the different ways that you lost or won this game, now when those things are coming in the present game, you can think about what your team needs to be successful. You can now think about what you want to do to make the game more favorable for you. Or if you see the enemy team doing some stuff, you can understand how to counter it, the timing of it, or what they want to do to kind of screw you. So taking this 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, we can also make it a little more specific so we can understand how and why this 1/3 is happening. So we can understand how to move. If you can think like this and shift your mindset towards this and becoming a little more analytical, we can inject some curiosity into your mind, into your mindset. And if you're more curious, guess what? We're not perseverating or focused on. That's right. You guessed it. Your fear. And if we can not focus on your fear or shift your fear away to your fear to curiosity or fear to focus, now we have a better chance to make sure we're thinking about the correct things to get the outcome we want versus running away / avoiding the thing we don't want. And in the end, that thing actually happening. Yo, all right. Oh, that's not on. Yeah, dude, that's it. That's it for me today. And my thinky thoughts. I think that was fun. You know, I think what I might try to do is I might try to, like, have maybe a weekly session, or maybe this is just what I do now of, like, all right, this is what I've been thinking during the week. There's the themes of things I've been thinking about, and then seeing if that hits. I don't know. That's pretty cool. It's pretty fun for me. I was kind of impressed that I filled up maybe an hour. Maybe I need to cut some stuff and stop rambling, but hey, that's the whole thing of a rant, right? But hey, listen, homies, as always, I'm curious about what makes you afraid, what affects you, how your fear makes you do things or think things maybe that aren't so helpful for you. And if you want some support in there, you'll hit me up on my website, psychsensei.com, or Discord or whatever, and we can start a conversation and you can see where your fear is taking you, how it's affecting you, and what we can do instead. Because I don't want you to live in fear or have that self-fulfilling prophecy come true. And it's always interesting to see how the fear is affecting your core beliefs about yourself or what you think is possible, which is always fun, because if you can think differently, listen, typically it is. All right, friends, I'm going to try to stream a little more consistently, and then my goal is to get to stream again on Friday. Maybe we'll read, maybe we'll play, but we'll see. As always, thanks for hanging out. I'm trying to drop new content, so if you want to check me out on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok, maybe there. All right, friends, I'll see you guys Friday if anything, but if not, remember, stronger mental wins. All right, friends, have a good day. Thanks for hanging out. Take it easy. Pieces. Love ya.